Well, a warm welcome to this talk. Now, there's been concern for some time now from talking to various experts about the increased risk of cancers, probably all types of cancers or many types of cancers after COVID vaccines. Now, of course, we're deprived of data in the United Kingdom between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. We just can't get that information freely. But there has been a study done in Italy. And what this shows is increased incidence of cancers 6 months after COVID vaccinations. And I'm going to give you that now. Just let me give you the main figures here before we look at where we got it from. This is the rate of first hospitalisation of cancer for any site. Now, what these workers did, it was a whole province in Italy, nearly 300,000 people. And they followed these people up for 2.5 years. And what they found was that of that whole group, the unvaccinated, 0.85% of them received a first cancer admission during that 2.5 year period. But for the vaccinated, it is 1.5. So a much higher percentage of vaccinated being admitted to hospital after 6 months during a 2.5 year follow-up if they'd received the COVID vaccine. And of course, this is real data and quite concerning. So rate of first hospitalisation for cancer of any site, unvaccinated group, 0.85% of them were admitted with a first cancer diagnosis. Vaccinated group, a much higher 1.15% admitted, based on a population of nearly 300,000 people. Hospital admissions with a cancer diagnosis, there was 3,124 people admitted. So of this population group, nearly 300,000, this is the number that had cancer. The percentages were 0.85 for the unvaccinated and 1.15 for the vaccinated. And this result was significant, the chances of that arising, even with this relatively small sample size. Only one chance in 1,000 that this result arose by chance. Thinking about Bradford Hill criteria, are there plausible mechanisms here? Yes, of course. Ongoing production of spike protein will cause inflammation. Ongoing inflammation is associated with cancer. Autoimmune attacking of the tissues will cause chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation associated with cancer. DNA contamination that Dr. David Speake has told us about so accurately, so much science in that. DNA contamination probably causing cancers. Or DNA contamination there, certainly a great theoretical risk of cancer, largely by inhibiting tumour suppressor genes. Frame shifting. So the pseudouridine means that the ribosomes don't read the proteins properly, and you end up with rogue proteins getting made again, rogue proteins, inflammation. Any mutation, of course, is a cancer. A cancer starts as a mutation. So lots of plausible mechanisms there. Data starting to come through. The fact that the British government, for example, just to pick one government, is not releasing the detailed information of who was vaccinated and who was not versus incidence of other diseases, in my view, quite outrageous. Our statisticians are waiting to analyse this, but they can't because they don't know who was vaccinated and who wasn't relative to certain diseases. In this one province in Italy, 300,000 people, we do know. And based on that population size, it's not good. Based on 50 million people in the UK or a couple hundred million people in the United States, well, I think you don't need me to extrapolate that for you. This is a concern. At the moment, I think the lack of data compromises a cover-up and is not acceptable. But sadly, this is the current period of time we are in the United Kingdom and indeed various other Western countries. So far, it's looking like, based on a very small amount of data, the longer it is since your vaccine, if you haven't got cancer yet, it's looking, from this provisionally, less likely at a year than it is at 6 months in terms of percentage. Now, the increase is still there. But does that mean that the risk is declining with time? Heck, I really hope so. I really hope so. I really hope that this is true. But we simply don't know.